There's a guy named Edelman who bills himself as the richest Jew in the world. I didn't say that, he said that. He made his money in casinos in Asia, and now he's making the money as well in casinos in Las Vegas. He has single-handedly bankrolled Newt Gingrich's campaign. And Newt Gingrich is, you know, the wildest, you know, the loudest voice for attacking Israel. Let me say that Iran. And thank you. And Edelman bankrolled Netanyahu's campaign too when Netanyahu was on. This money is enormously powerful. Okay, enough of that. It's a distressing subject for a Jew. Now, people often say, well, what is your proposal? All you people are always against things. You're not for things. Well, there's a lot of things we can do besides bomb people or impose sanctions so murderous that, like the sanctions on Iraq, all during Clinton's time and into the early years of the Bush administration, killed at least 500,000 children in Iraq, and maybe as many as 1.5 million women and children. It was an assault on humanity. It was one of the reasons Osama bin Laden gave, one of the three, for launching an attack on this country. The other two being our support of what Israel is doing in the occupied territories, plus we had bases in Saudi Arabia at the time. And the only politician with a national pulpit who has the courage and truthfulness to say that those were the reasons that 9/11 occurred was Ron Paul. Ron Paul is, quote, an enemy of Israel because he refuses to obscure the truth. And he says it in the national debates. And good for him. Whatever your feelings about Ron Paul, let me say, he is, on this subject, the most courageous national politician we have. On U.S. imperialism, on U.S. militarism, on our behavior in the Middle East. I am so glad that Ron Paul is still talking. We all ought to be grateful, because he is the only voice out there who will talk about this. Okay. Now, what is so if we don't want murderous sanctions, which we are currently imposing, and we don't want to bomb them with God knows what consequences, what are the alternatives? Well, here's one. A nuclear weapons-free zone in the Middle East. There are nuclear weapon-free zones in South America, in Africa, in other places in the world, and they've been very successful. In the nuclear weapons-free zones, there has never been a non-nuclear power that went nuclear. It's very impressive. Now, this is not a new idea, the nuclear weapon-free zone. And I'm about to conclude. It was first issued in 1974 when the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution calling for all states in the region to declare that they will refrain from producing, acquiring, anyway possessing nuclear weapons and nuclear explosive devices. It also called for the states to place all their nuclear facilities under IAEA safeguards. In subsequent years, the General Assembly on several occasions renewed its call. It is very interesting that the UN Security Resolution 687, which was passed in 1991, that's the Security Council, which demanded Iraqi disarmament, did so within the context, quote, of establishing in the Middle East a zone free of weapons of mass destruction. And that's the resolution we relied on to invade Iraq in the first Gulf War, you might remember. And there have been efforts since, and I won't go through them because I want to conclude and let other people talk. There have been efforts since to do it. It's always been scuttled by Israel, though sometimes Israel looks like it's interested. And recent polling in Israel shows that a significant majority of people in Israel are willing to forego their nuclear weapons for a nuclear weapon-free zone. This is a very creative and feasible approach, and it would make the United States look even-handed on these issues of requiring states not to be nuclear, because as long as we are so inconsistent, even to the point of hypocrisy, when it comes to who we say is okay having nuclear weapons, including ourselves, and who it's not okay, then most of the world won't give us any credence. Thank you.